Things had started off so well this week with YouTube making some positive changes. The arbitrary 7-second rule when it comes to using strong language was just seemingly dropped, and everybody was thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe YouTube's moving in a positive direction, becoming less censorious. Now, before we get into the obvious rejoinder to that, I mean, like, it was always an arbitrary thing, and you guys know, it's like, I'm not exactly against using strong language, of course not. And as somebody who has been around the block when it comes to YouTube, at least for a little while, I seem to recall like there was a first 30 seconds or first 90 seconds or maybe even like the first 5 minutes of a video you're not supposed to swear or anything like that if you want. This is all about full monetization, which actually has quite a few downstream effects. If your video's not monetized, then YouTube will tell you that, it doesn't affect your reach and it doesn't affect the algorithm performance. It's like, shut up. There's provable information out there from several other people, and I can give you some data on some of my videos talking and discussing topics where if I'm on a good run covering a certain topic, all of a sudden, if one ended up being yellow, which I think definitely during 2023 when we were talking the Bud Light stuff, because that was straddling a pretty dangerous line, or even the Johnny Depp Amber Heard stuff, if you would get a green check mark on your video, it would do extremely well. But if you got a yellow one, boy howdy, would you end up getting nerfed into the ground on that. So yes, everybody adhered to the first 7 seconds, not dropping an F-bomb or whatever. But now, yeah, I'm just getting rid of that. Like, here's the thing, like, don't monetize a video if it's going to have harsh language. Just have a binary filter on that one. That would be a little bit more forgivable. Instead of, the first 7 seconds, but then after that, if you want to swear like a sailor, go for it, because there was also the amendment in there as well, where, if profanity was used heavily throughout the video, it could also get docked points, or in this case, social credit points, and your video would not be eligible for monetization. I would have simply preferred an in for a penny, in for a pound approach, but hey, now that they lifted it, thank God, I think that's totally fine. But I guess if we wanted to get kind of conspiratorial, which now we can start connecting some dots, given the fact that they, lifted that restriction only to bring in a much more censorious ones. YouTube brings AI age estimation to the US, not the UK, not to Canada, not to the EU, not to anywhere else around the world, but to the US. And some users will need to show ID starting, I think it's the 13th of August. Yeah, 13th of August. YouTube's age estimation system, which is probably going to go about as well as every one of their other algorithm related changes. Boy, this is going to be such a shit show. But its system is coming to the US, and even if you're well over 18, you might soon have to show your ID to prove it. Jesus Christ. So starting August 13th, YouTube will roll out an age estimation model in the US to determine if a user is under 18, regardless of birth date, tied to their Google account. Jesus. The mode uses AI and a range of signals, including YouTube activity and account age, to guess a user's actual age. It will also base its decisions off types of videos a user is searching for and the categories of videos they have watched. That's interesting, right? Because I know on my personal account, the shit that I'm watching, it's like, it's definitely not graphic. It's not terribly edgy, but I guess it is a little bit more intellectual because I've been watching like a fair number of, like Tolkien deep dives and shit like that. Getting a lot of information on the first and second age, and it's like, well, none of those breakdowns from channels like Men of the West or In Deep Geek, like, they're not gonna have harsh language, and other than some violence concerns, it's not really gonna be in any perceivable matter considered to be mature content. So will I have to verify my age, even though I think my personal, when did I open up that one? I think like 2006 or something like that. I guess technically it's old enough to vote, which is a wild thing to think about. So maybe that'll get it across the line. Who knows? This shit's weird, and especially how nebulous they are when it comes to defining whatever these how these systems make these decisions, because you know how bad their overall recommended feed is, especially when it comes to the shorts. I can't tell you how many times that I've said stop recommending YouTube shorts, because that shit is absolute cancer. The only thing it's generally good at is when you click the don't recommend this video or don't recommend this channel anymore. When it's don't recommend video types like this anymore, I think that only works for like a week or two, and then I just see that stuff pop back again. But anyways, so if it decides you're a teen, so being very stereotypically here for a second, are they going with content directed at teenagers or what teenagers would be driven towards? They go with more edgy type content that is made for mature audiences, but it's kind of like Zack Snyder stuff, but it's really, only appealing to like 14 and 15-year-olds. Is that what we're going with? But okay, YouTube will automatically apply content restrictions and digital well-being tools. Great. Limit personalized ads and reduce exposure to problematic content. The Google-owned platform acknowledges that it could get estimates wrong, or at least acknowledges that users may believe that they got it wrong. Exactly. But YouTube adds age protections despite recent backlash because, yeah, we talked about it this week as well with the UK Online Safety Act. Won't somebody please think of the children? That's why stuff like this is getting brought in. This is why YouTube is, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I could show you some data behind the scenes, okay? For the past couple of months, since about the first or second week of June, I would say probably about midway through June, things have changed. Things have changed tremendously. All the data that I have on the topics that I've been discussing, that isn't anything really differently presented or discussed. Shit that would normally get good to great performance depending on a few different factors, but even just looking on impressions that videos are getting, yeah, my interactions, my engagements, they've been cut since June by about 2/3. It is fucking disgusting. Within the past couple of weeks, yeah, things have rebounded a little bit, but holy fuck, does that kick you right in the nuts if you've been working exceptionally hard and you just continue to grind out content, but YouTube just fucking sticks it in the void for I don't know what reason. So yeah, do I trust them knowing what they've done over the past, I think sometime in August, it'll be 5 years that I've been doing this. Would I trust them to get simple shit like age verification, age guessing correct? Do I think the UK government, and in the couple of weeks that bill has been live, how many loopholes have been exposed right there? Do I think that anybody's going to be getting this shit right? Fuck no. And what do the idiots that applaud this stuff because they buy the line, they take the bait, hook, line, and sinker, that, oh, it's the government, oh, it's these corporations finally stepping up and doing the right thing. Meanwhile, these single moms that are out there just letting their kids fucking run wild all over the internet that causes this type of shit. Once again, everybody else having to sweep up because accountability, respectability, and overall temperance are just certain concepts that are devoid and non-existent in today's broader culture. And instead of asking people to just simply have a little bit of self-discipline, no, we're just trying to round the edges off of the world. You're thinking right now, okay, it's like, yeah, all of this shit, it really doesn't much matter, man. You end up getting slapped down by one of these age verification things and you don't want to hand over all of your private information because we know how well every one of these companies and the government handles this stuff. That's right, you can just use a VPN, okay? You can just keep on, fleeing, making things harder for yourself. Just adding a middleman where one really isn't necessary. Well, you're starting to see the crackdown that's there. My ISP has decided to block access to VPN sites. So yeah, eventually they'll start stamping this stuff down. This is what happens, man, every single time. Every single one of your favorite entertainment industries, they've been subverted by a bunch of weirdos. And what was the old response to this stuff? It's like, oh yeah, okay, they're not going to change all that much. What are they going to do? And it's, it's all right. Okay, who cares if there's like a gay superhero? Man, it's like, you could have a different version of Superman. Yeah, he could be black. That's fine. It doesn't much matter. And you know what? Yeah, you know what? Some of Tolkien's work, it was lacking some real feminine energy. So if they're out there, if they're telling some stories and they want to go ahead and put in those characters, that's fine. And then fast forward a few years and, well, everything's been destroyed. That's what happens when we don't fight back, okay? We learned the importance of fucking gatekeeping, so that's why issues like this are so goddamn important to just simply shout about from every one of your digital rooftops. And so, yeah, depending on how this age verification on YouTube is going to be implemented, Neon from Clownfish TV, shout out, posited the point. I guess YouTubers who have audiences under 16 are pretty screwed, huh? Yeah, exactly. And then bounding into comments, highlights that not even audiences. Yeah, here's how you do this too. Yeah, that's YouTube, man, because besides Google, YouTube is the biggest search engine online, and it's not even close. So yeah, guitar tutorials, car maintenance, food prep, self-defense, how to edit, startup business tutorials. Yeah, it starts with videos about naughty topics, and then it leaps all the way to banned on content that attracts certain politics. Because yeah, those are things that are, generally speaking, all ages content. DIY fixes on equipment, how to repair your bike tutorials, shit like that. But because I would imagine most of the people that engage with that stuff are probably guys in their 30s or 40s. If a kid wants to do something for themselves, are they gonna end up running afoul of the verification system? And are we just, once again, the kids who are just raised online, who don't know about the world prior to high-speed, easily accessible internet, have we doomed them to fail even more so? Well, I'll take myself out of that because I haven't, because I'm not backing any of this shit. But as quickly as we have seen things move from just a UK censorship law, now the US is getting a YouTube age verification, and now we're even seeing the law false premised on protecting kids has now locked down Spotify to adults until you provide your ID or your photo. The internet has truly fallen. Xbox, Discord, X, YouTube, Spotify, they are all, and there's a screenshot confirming this, age-restricted content and checking your age. It's all moving towards digital identification and government and corporate control of yourself and your movement. It's not even a slippery slope claim anymore. We're here. Everything from political speech, opinions on immigration, to an artist's own artwork. Yeah, this is right there on the Online Safety Act page, what it takes into account, what it age restricts. Okay, if you try a VPN, you're accused of hurting kids. Yeah, even though the VPN is for you, the adult, the UK and Australia are leading this change. EU said to be following soon. So yeah, that's why the whole Stop Killing Games initiative, it's nice that they, have such great support. It's just unfortunate the only place that they can get any sort of justice or any sort of reprieve is from one of the most censorious and overreaching institutions on the face of the earth. Some sites aren't even bothering to restrict this to UK, as it's simpler to just put this in place for the entire world. Yeah, exactly. Case in point, Marvel Rivals is now recording in-game voice chat to automatically ban toxic players. I mean, like, it was a Chinese game to begin with, so why should we not expect this stuff? But yeah, this is gonna be the future of gaming, entertainment, social media, online interactions, whole stop. And you might think, okay, you could just go outside and touch grass. It's not going to affect everybody, but you have to realize that everybody's online at this point in time. You might think that certain issues are just simply restrained to being online, but everybody's online. This affects everybody. And just because it doesn't affect you right now, again, what did I say a little bit earlier? You might not have cared about comics, and now look at the state of comics. You might not have cared about games, but now you take a look at AAA studios and how they're all hanging on for dear life. You didn't watch Marvel movies? That's fine that they're shit and they're dying on the vine. But eventually, something's gonna come to your door, a la the communists back in the Soviet Union, one step at a time. So we're here. We're here, and it's a fight worth fighting to push back against this stuff. This isn't a left-right thing, even though the left is never going to join forces, and that's totally fucking fine on this one. They'll benefit from people talking about and exposing this type of bullshit. Because honestly, I for one, don't play Marvel Rivals. I don't live in the UK. A lot of the things that are getting quote-unquote censored are not really things that, affect me at all whatsoever, but it's the mere principle of it. And honestly, I have seen enough things that I don't care about be torn down the past few decades, and enough is a goddamn enough. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.